wants you to take a quick road trip to Miami.
The county code is 35 feet, and this heap here is 45 feet.
This is the Keys, bro. No one follows the building code. Okay, you, Miami, a little police business, in and out.
I can't do it, Ro. I'm technically not even a detective anymore.
Do we really have to do this dance?
Who's dancing? There's no dance. I'm suspended. How am I dancing?
No, it's the back and forth.
There's no back and forth.
My brother, you want your job back very badly, right?
Yes.
Well, I've got something in my car that the sheriff wants you to drive to Miami.
Oh, look at me. I'm falling asleep. I'm so tired.
So this is obviously going to be an inside joke that you'll get after, but Indianapolis, this is where we are, but I'm talking with the creator, Bill Lawrence of Bad Monkey. He's created Scrubs, Ted Lasso, Shrinking. Explain to us what Indianapolis, where that reference comes from.
My daughter is an awesome musician. Go check her music out if you haven't. My family just went and saw her play Radio City Music Hall a few weeks ago. But she was in your city, and every city she changed the lyrics of her song to mention the city, and we all make fun of her to this day because she was strung out. She was doing like 30 cities and 34 nights, and in the middle of her song she went, Indianapolis! And she said usually people cheer when she says the city name, but this time she just kind of got confused faces. So you can search for it on the internet if you're bored. There you go.
So search for it there, but also watch Bad Monkey. She's starring in it as well, her first TV project, but obviously there's also Vince Vaughn, Ronald Peet, Jodie Turner-Smith, Zach Braff, the list just goes on and on. Tell us how you came up to create Bad Monkey based on the book.
Oh, look, man, look, you're a young guy. I'm 1,000 years old, man. I've been doing this for a long time. And I'm at the age now that I'm trying to do passion projects. And I would tell all your viewers that Carl Hiaasen is a rock star. I read his book starting when I was 16 years old. And there's a direct line from his surreal comedy banter, kind of giant character caper pieces to Scrubs and to the shows I do. And so to get a chance, think of it, everybody wants to know the dream gig, think of your favorite book and you get to go to the author and say, I want to make this into a TV show, but I'm going to add a bunch of chapters to the middle. It's so fun, man.
It's so fun. I love the narrator is obviously following the story. You don't see that much these days, but you're kind of getting an inside look into Vince Vaughn's character and also the show itself. What was the process like of deciding, okay, I want a narrator to take us along this journey? Well,
that's a great question. No one's asked it yet, because the biggest cheat was when Matt Tarsus, the other head writer, and I, the writing staff, when we first got through it, the one thing that we were bummed out about was we didn't know if it needed narration or not, but we weren't able to get enough of Carl's lines and comedy outside of the dialogue into the show. And so we were like, what if we made the show's so Florida, and we hired a local Florida actor to be the fisherman who's the narrator, and we're like, what if we used him as the voice of Carl Hiaasen? And I would say 60% of his lines are right out of the book, and for us, as a kind of way of paying homage and making the story seem authentic, like the big trick and metaphor is this whole story is a fishing story, if you know what those are. It just made the show kind of work for us as writers.
It definitely works, and I just think this show is such a great summer show. It's coming out at the right time where people are going back to school, people are heading on vacations, go to the Florida Keys. What was it like filming there and getting to tell that story there?
Oh, dude, by the way, you're so nice to say it, because we wanted to feel like a big throwbacky summer movie and just be, fun, But Carl, he's such an icon in Florida. It was really important to him for it to be authentic that we shot there. And I will say this, Miami, the Keys, the Bahamas, there's nowhere more beautiful. You understand why Carl's books all have an undercurrent of environmentalism, because he thinks it's one of the most beautiful places in the world, but we're crushing it with, development and construction and all that. But I will say this, when people in Florida say it's hot, it's a different kind of hot, and it's like people put wet cement on your shoulders and then tell you to run around a little bit. It's crazy. And the animals in the show were all actually there driving us insane. They were awesome. So a lot of challenges, but I've forgotten all of the negatives now. It was all worth it.
Yeah, all worth it. I'll make sure everyone in Indianapolis is absolutely watching Bad Monkey this summer.
Indianapolis! Hey, thank you, man. That's funny. Do not tell my daughter I told you. All right.
Nope, secret kept. So you obviously know him from Scrubs. He's reuniting with that creator of the show, Bill Lawrence, on this new Apple TV Plus show, Bad Monkey. I'm talking with Zach Braff. So thanks for joining me. And obviously, it's a no-brainer that you're reuniting with Bill Lawrence.
Yeah, well, we have the same taste, and he's just been such a champion of mine. I really was honored he asked me to do this.
And give us a brief summary of what Bad Monkey's about.
Oh, that's pretty impossible, man. It's a pretty epic novel that's been broken into many episodes. But it's a murder mystery that follows a really funny, witty detective played by Vince Vaughn.
And Vince Vaughn, you segued into my next question. Obviously, your scenes come up when Vince Vaughn is looking into your apartment and looking into the mystery. What was it like working with him?
It's great. It's so refreshing. I've always looked up to him ever since Swingers. When I saw that movie, I thought, oh my gosh, this is one of the funniest, quickest people I've ever seen. And I love when Vince goes full Vince. And so it was great to be in scenes with him and just see that in action and to just attempt to keep up with his quick wit.
Yeah, and your character goes through a lot of highs and a lot of lows. What's that like, kind of balancing those things with your character on screen?
Well, when we did the flashback stuff, that's when he's happy. It's definitely feels, it's a challenge. It feels fun to be challenged as an actor. All actors sort of had their sweet spot where they can do that all day long. But it's really refreshing to get a chance to do something that's different and pushes you.
Yeah. So what do people need to know? This obviously comes out August 14th on Apple TV Plus. What do people need to know before they watch Bad Monkey?
They need to know that it's a really fun, really interesting murder mystery. If you love old school Vince Vaughn like Swingers, you're going to see him again. It's almost like Vince Vaughn and Swingers meets Fletch. Meets a Florida murder mystery with a really talented ensemble, and I think it'll keep you on the edge of your seat.
Very edge of your seat. I was on the edge of my seat watching it. I can't wait for people to see Bad Monkey. Thanks a lot, Zach.
Thank you so much.
The True Detective universes are colliding. If you saw the first season, Michelle Monaghan played an incredible role as Woody Harrelson's wife. And Vince Vaughn played in the second season in True Detective. I'm obviously going to tell you the first season is way better. She was in that one. They're now starring in Bad Monkey on Apple TV Plus. So thanks for joining me, and tell us what Bad Monkey's about.
I am so excited, and you're right. Bad Monkey follows Andrew Yancey, played by Vince Vaughn. He is a recently suspended police detective from the Miami Police Department, and he has been demoted to a health inspector in the Florida Keys. He is basically trying to get his old job back, and in order to get his old job back, he is really just trying to figure his way around a bunch of shady cast of characters that he meets along the way. It's a lot of fun. It's a very entertaining, original series by Bill Lawrence, very noir, a lot of action, a lot of comedy, and a lot of fun.
Yeah, and your character, where does your character come into play? Your character has a pretty mysterious past that we'll get to find out after a while.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Bonnie plays the on-again, off-again girlfriend of Andrew Yancey, of Vince Vaughn. And, when we first meet her, she's very playful, she's very confident, she's sexy, she's cool. And then as the series progresses, we realize that this woman has a lot of secrets. She's pretty sly. She's a little manipulative. And she's a lot of trouble. And we find out that she is wanted by the FBI for a very salacious crime.
And you mentioned, obviously, you're starring alongside Vince Vaughn. We know him for these amazing comedies. He's this great comedic actor, Dodgeball, Wedding Crashers. But he's in this serious role in this kind of show. What's that like working with him on that?
You know what? He's such a good actor. He's such a smart actor. He is so brilliant at tone, as is Bill. I mean, they're kind of like a match made in heaven, because Bill, I think, balances tone so brilliantly in all of his series, and so does Vince. And I think the writing and the performance is like equal parts sarcastic and satirical, but at the same time, it's quite vulnerable and intimate and relatable. And if there's anything that Vince Vaughn is, it's like relatable, and he's just so fun to watch, and he's so fast and quick on his feet. It was really like a great time getting to work with him.
Yeah, and you mentioned Bill. Obviously, Bill Lawrence, when he calls, you have to answer. You have to join the show. The writing's going to be next level with Scrubs, Ted Lasso, Shrinking. What's it like to be on a show by him?
I mean, I'm telling you, when he called, I didn't even have to like flip open the first page. I knew no matter what the role was, I was going to do this. You know, he's just so smart. He's one of the best showrunners in the business, one of the best humans in the business. As talented as he is kind. And you know, he again, it's that tone that he brings to, you know, these are characters, these are really shady people doing a lot of bad things that are outrageous, and you are still invested in them. You still like them. You still root for them. You are still in their corner, and I think that's what makes the show so fun to watch. It feels completely, you know, it feels like his brand of comedy, but it also feels completely original. Bill goes a little darker in this series than he does in Ted Lasso or Shrinking, and so I think audiences are gonna love that. And it's set in Miami, which is like a really fun, sexy town. It's a great backdrop for all of these shady characters. There's a lot of places to hide and a lot of trouble to get up to there. So it's good fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a noir. It's a crime drama. There's some funny elements to it, too. I can't wait for people to see Bad Monkey on Apple TV Plus this summer. Thanks a lot, Michelle.
Thank you so much.
This story, Bad Monkey, it's set in the Florida Keys, and it's just a great story. And there's kind of like multiple stories going on at the same time. We have Vince Vaughn's character, and then we also have Ronald Peet's character doing different things as well. So thank you for chatting with me, and tell us where your character comes into play.
Of course, Trevor. It's a pleasure to meet with you today. Yeah, so I play Neville Stafford, who's this more or less unassuming Bahamian fisherman who's just hanging out, this bachelor who's hanging out, minding his own business, until a developer comes and kind of upends his whole existence by selling his home from under him and destroying the ecology of the Bahamas that's very important to him and to all of his friends and family. And that, in trying to seek some kind of justice for that, my character Neville ends up teaming up with Vince Vaughn's Yancey character, who's also seeking justice in a different way.
And what was it like working with Vince Vaughn on a project like this?
I mean, he's a legend, right? He's a comedy and improv legend, and so it was like having a master class every day we went to work. I just got to observe it and try not to break.
Yeah. And another person you share a screen with is the absolutely stunning Jodie Turner-Smith. She's just breathtaking, and she's great in this role as well. What's that like, building that relationship with her?
It was incredible. And she's the most generous, present. Everyone on this team was just so generous and so present, and everyone was so well cast because the dynamics. I almost want to say, like, we didn't have to like act that much because our spirits and our energies were just so aligned with the characters we were playing. It was so easy to slip into it.
Very much, and it's a very big ensemble piece, which obviously what we know Bill Lawrence for, obviously Scrubs, Ted Lasso, Shrinking. It has to be such a great honor to be in a comedy drama from someone like Bill Lawrence.
From your lips, absolutely. What a gift.
And what was it like being on that same set with him and just working on his work that obviously he is just the masterclass of comedy writing?
He is, yeah. I like to say with Bill that he creates an atmosphere of collaboration in his projects where everyone can kind of know, like, you're a genius, like, it's common knowledge, but he brings the genius out in everyone. Like, the hierarchy kind of disappears and you all get to just play, you all get to create and collaborate, and it felt like I was released from some kind of, like, any kind of shackle that I had in my mind. It was just released, and that was lovely.
Yeah, and so obviously it comes out August 14th on Apple TV Plus. What do people need to know before they watch Bad Monkey?
I think go in with an open mind, get ready to laugh, get ready to stretch, get ready to see some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful imagery, and to maybe question some things that you hadn't questioned before about life.
Definitely. You're going to be wondering who's behind all this the whole time. It's just going to keep you guessing. Thank you very much, Ronald. Make sure you watch Bad Monkey this summer. when I joined this press junket, I was so happy that they put these two together in the press room, Charlotte Lawrence and Meredith Hagner, because they are just so great together. Their chemistry is incredible. So thank you for joining me on this Bad Monkey tour. And Charlotte, we'll start with you. What is this all about?
What is everything all about? Or what am I all about? Or what is it all about?
Whatever you want to say. What the show's about, what your character's about.
Oh, the show is based on a Carl Hiaasen book called Bad Monkey. It's an incredible book. And it's a very dark murder mystery comedy that I think fits in its own genre completely because of the incredible writers and Carl Hiaasen and, the actors. And it's such a frickin' fun watch, and it's scary, and there's twists and there's turns, and yeah.
Wow, good job. You got the hard question.
Now I'll transition it over to Mary. Tell us when your character comes into play.
What?
Where's your character come into play?
I'm one of the villains of the show, and I play a sociopath who is kind of part of the, without giving too much away, part of the crime element of the show that takes Yancey on a wild goose chase.
Yeah, and what about your character, Charlotte?
My character, Caitlin, is the daughter of Nick Stripling, whose arm was washed up on shore. So the season opens with Caitlin kind of dealing with the death of her dad and figuring out how to grieve while simultaneously wanting to murder her stepmom.
Evil stepmother.
And we had that dynamic in real life as well, just
I hate her.
and murder.
I can tell it's just very at each other's throats. You're not,
No, I punched her in the face like 2 seconds before you said action. No fun. Hate.
And Charlotte, this is a really big role for you. Obviously, we know you from the music world, but this is on your dad's show, Bill Lawrence, who obviously Scrubs, Ted Lasso. Now you're in the acting world. What is it like getting to be part of his show?
Oh my God, it's incredible. I'm so lucky. I feel so blessed. I very much so recognize, the opportunity that was given to me and how rare it is that I am able to do this and pursue this big of a project for the first ever thing I've done. It's unheard of, and it's a pinch me moment, and it's a dream come true. And all I could do was work my ass off in the most intense way I could and try my hardest and give it my all. And I had the most fun. It was such an incredible challenge and learning experience. And I want to do it a million more times. I feel so lucky. And obviously working with my dad was such a blessing because I love him so much and he's such a wonderful father, but he's also the best at what he does. In my humble opinion, I think he's so talented. I think his writing is magical. I think he's magnificent, and he was such an incredible boss. So even if I wasn't his daughter, it would still be obviously like the greatest, biggest opportunity in the world. And I just want to do a million more things.
We all feel the same way, even though he's not our dad. So you're not alone in that. And Meredith, obviously, this is a big ensemble piece. We have both of you. We have Vince Vaughn, Rob Delaney, Zach Braff, Natalie Martinez, the list, Jodie Turner-Smith. I could just keep naming literally everyone in the cast that's just at the top of their game. What's it like being a part of a show like this?
It's really a pinch me moment. I mean, there's nothing like getting to do. I've done a lot of, I worked in satire and comedy, 30-minute episodes, and so these are hour long, right? And it's a dark comedy. It's kind of hard to box in. And so we get more time in the scenes, and it's actor heaven to be looking across Vince Vaughn and having these long scenes together, and everyone you named. It's like not lost on me how lucky I feel. So
yeah, it's actor heaven, it's viewer heaven. As someone who's watched the series, I'm excited for people to see Bad Monkey this summer on Apple TV Plus. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
So we love her in Under the Dome, CSI, Ordinary Joe. She's back for this super fun summer mystery drama, thriller, comedy, whatever you want to call it. It's Bad Monkey on Apple TV Plus. I'm talking with Natalie Martinez. So thank you for joining me, and tell us where your character comes into play.
You find Rosa in Bad Monkey in this place in her life where she loves what she do. She's a coroner for the Miami-Dade Police Office and the Miami-Dade Police Department. And in that, it's a tough job. It's a tough job, a very important job, but the things that come through those doors, sometimes it's a little hard to swallow, and I think she's finding herself. Where does she want more? Is she satisfied? Is there maybe something else out there that can bring some more life into her? And that comes in Yancey with an arm fished out of the ocean and a very intriguing case. And I think he's also really interesting. He has this quirkiness about him. He's charming and funny and makes her laugh. So within all of that, they both kind of go out to try to figure out this case as unofficial police work. She's a coroner, he's a suspended police officer who's trying to get back in the good graces. So all that kind of just makes a really good, recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and this Yancey we're talking about is obviously Vince Vaughn, sort of playing to, obviously the charming, which is what he seems to be in real life. Is that how you built this relationship? What was it like working with him?
Oh, my God, working with his bot was just great, And this is something where he's so good at, and this is my first comedy, so it was really amazing to have him as a scene partner, and it was really amazing just to kind of have, Bill Lawrence kind of heading this thing, and Vince Vaughn's improvisation skills. It was definitely an honor to kind of, share the screen with him, and it was just fun. We got along really well, and it was made very easy to kind of get into my character and do our scenes.
And being your first comedy, there's really hardly anywhere to go up than Bill Lawrence with Scrubs and Ted Lasso and Shrinking. He's just a legend writer, director, showrunner. What's it like being on a show for him?
It was great. It was great working with Bill Lawrence. I feel like he wrote such a good script that you really don't have to even go outside of that. But he also allowed and encouraged this improv and making the character your own. Like I was able to bring jewelry that made me feel more, authentic to her. I was able to kind of explore different options, use my accent, speak Spanish when I wanted to. Like those little things that kind of make a character real. And authentic, he just welcomed, so it made it a really good environment to kind of explore.
I want to know about your job on the show, obviously as the coroner. What about that job specifically was like, whoa, this is so different. This is not what I expected being the coroner for this kind of show.
We had a coroner on set to kind of help guide me, with how things are, how do we hold, certain tools and what do we do, the procedures of stuff. So it looks like I actually knew what I was doing. And I think it's really amazing because I was talking to her and it's a job for them at the end of the day, but from us looking in, it's like, wow, how can you take a murder to a child and things like that? It's very dark. But then again, here she is listening to music, eating food, writing down notes of what happened. You have to kind of separate yourself from those things. And I've learned that also being in police dramas when I've done, ride-alongs with police and had conversations with them. I mean, it's a very hard but important job to do, but you have to kind of find a separation in it so that you can separate your life and work, because if not, it weighs on you.
Yeah, you're very right. Very important. Another important job is to watch Bad Monkey this summer on Apple TV+. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you.